everybody. Hope you had a fantastic week last week. I know I'm a bit late with this video. Said that I'd do one a week, and things got a little crazy around here. So I didn't get to do it, but today I've got a video for you, and I thought I'd do something a little bit different today. I'm gonna do 5 things we wish we knew before we bought the house. 5 things, only 5. I actually didn't really, to be honest, the 5 things are not, I've got a cheat list. The 5 things are not amazingly like, oh, we can't live there now or anything like that. They're really more of a problem financially, I guess, it impacts financial things, and also time, and if you're going to renovate. So they're annoying, but not. Let's get straight to the list anyway. I've got a cheat list because I would have forgot. I would have been like, what did I say? Because I'm a bit ditzy today. Long story. Okay, so number one, one of the hurdles that we didn't know that we were going to have before, and that's before the house even got here. Before we started getting the house into situ, we didn't realise that we were going to need a bond. So look into your council, whatever, because it's the council that want the bond. You need to pay a bond before the house even gets moved to the property. Reason for that is because they want you to finish the project. Too many people, and I know that this is a problem in this area and a few others, where they've dumped the house on the block, and that's been end game. They haven't been touched. I know of places that have got these removal or relocatable homes in situ and haven't been touched for 10 years. 10 years, and these houses are sitting there vacant, and you've got people that are homeless. That's what she thinks of that. Pretty disgusting. Okay, so number 1, check with your council authorities, and I'm pretty sure that's Australia-wide. You know, you're not going to, I mean, I've heard of, our bond was $25,000. I'm happy to disclose that amount for you. We had stipulations that what we had to do before we moved in, that we had to have done. The council come out, they check your property, make sure that you've got your electric, hey, you're gonna fall. Make sure you've got your electric certified, your plumbing certified, and that you've got the bits and pieces that they wanted you to get done. So no flaky paint on the house. So if you get a really old home, this relocatable home is, I think it's from the 70s, maybe early 60s, late 60s, early 70s. So it's been repainted on the outside clearly in its life before, but no flaky paint. It has to aesthetically be not an eyesore, which I don't really get, because I've driven around and I've seen some relocatable homes that are absolutely full of black mold on the outside. I don't know how they get away with it, but anyway. And we also had to have our stumping done. The stumping had to be enclosed all the way around, not just at the front, but at the sides and at the back too. Okay, so that's the first one. So your bond. I've heard of the bond being up to $75,000 before, and I'd say that'd be quite a rundown home. We had to send photos to prove that, that we're not lying. The house is how we say it is. They don't really care about inside. They do care about the plumbing, and they do care about what it looks like outside, which is, that's fair. Okay, so number 2, what we didn't know when we bought this property, has 2 roofs. That's right, you heard me, 2 roofs. Now, I'll put a little video in here to show you. And yeah, so the 2 roofs, interesting. I know I had to do it up. We didn't realise that until the electrician said that he couldn't get in through the manhole, and we were like, what do you mean you can't get in through the manhole? Because we were like, where's the manhole? Oh, I know where the manhole is. It's in the bathroom. No problem. Yeah, as you saw in the video footage, you cannot get in there. The crawl space is literally this big. A rat would be flat out getting in there. So now I think the reason for that is that this house, I said it was early 70s. We were told it was late 70s. I've got a funny feeling that this house has been renovated and then renovated again, and instead of taking the whole roof down, they've just added roof over the top of the existing roof, which is kind of clever. You know, money wise it's cheaper because you don't have to move out of the home, have cranes come in, move bits of roof or whatever. The most difficult part for us was our electricians had to go through the top of our roof, and that meant lifting up the corrugated iron on the roof. I think it's corrugated iron. Don't get up there very often. So yeah, lifting that up and getting underneath that way into the sub roof, and then getting down into the next roof was a matter of pushing it through, you know, this much. You can't get into that crawl space at all. So that was the problem, because we had solar panels on the roof that we wanted to leave there. We couldn't hook up to solar, and I'll tell you another reason. I'll tell you about that in another time, but we couldn't do it. But we were going to leave the solar panels there because they were still usable. Instead, the electricians had to take all the solar panels off. It turned out that the solar panels were still picking up, even though they weren't attached to something, whatever it is, diverter or whatever it is, they were still live. So any energy that was coming in from the sun was it's still going into a line that was going nowhere. So they said it's better if we get them taken off. So, you know, again, it sucks that we can't get into our roof. Anything that we need to do in the roof, as far as you know, the aerial or stuff like that, has to sort of go through the wall or whatever. So that's number 2. Okay, number 3. Our house has actually been a relocatable home before. We are probably about 90% sure that this house has been relocated before. Now, we picked it up, I'm not going to say exactly where for privacy reasons, but it was near the coast, okay, and we've moved it inland. We've moved it a fair way from where it originated from, but it was a coastal home, or it was a bayside home. It was actually called the Bayside, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, sadly, when we've pulled up flooring, and I'll put the video footage in here so you can see. So yeah, sadly, as you can see, there's a big through the floor, and I think that goes all the way down that side of the hallway. So anything on the left side of the hallway as you're facing that way is got a hole. So basically there's I mean, it's not a big deal, but when you're pulling up flooring and you see that, now we've got to sort of fill that gap on each, and that was the same as down in the computer room when we did the floor there. We just filled the gap, basically put the flooring back down. Okay, so that's that one. Number 4, our tanks leak. Now this one's a serious one, so I'll probably have work from the least important down to the most important. Don't lick my arm, I'm not food. What are you doing? What are you doing? Stop. Okay, so our tanks leak. The reason for that is that I feel that not telling tales out of school, but I don't believe that they were installed properly. Well, I know they weren't. They're leaking from the valve. So if you're getting tanks put in, make sure that first of all you find out what stipulations are for the base. We were meant to have a thicker base than what we have now, and the people that put the shed in were responsible for that, and they didn't do the right thing. They didn't put them in properly, and I believe that there's a lot of movement now that they're full, because they are actually full. And where the seal is, that I'll show you in the video now. Okay, so as you can see where the seal is, they're leaking out of the seal, and they've come out to fix it once and it's still leaking. So I think that there's just a lot of movement, and it's just wiggling it around, and it's just never been right, which really sucks because water is expensive and we are leaking water out, and there's nothing we can do about it at this stage. We can't pick the tanks up and put a better base underneath them. It's just not gonna stop it. It's just not gonna work out that way, because unfortunately, to empty all that water is just not gonna happen. We're coming into winter now, and all our tanks are pretty much full. So without having something to pump that water into, apparently she's eating the book. You're right, eating the book. She's a bit mad at the book. What are you doing? There's a horsey out there. You see the horse? Okay, so number 5 is oh yeah, so basically what I was going to say about the tanks is make sure that you check them and recheck them. I'm in the process of writing emails to pretty much everybody who had anything to do with the tanks, to tell them how shit it is right now with having leaky tanks, and we'll take it from there. As I said, there's not much they can do about it. It's one of those things. We are stuck with leaky tanks until the leaky tanks have actually been emptied, which I believe that we've got at the moment. As we stand right now, we have over a year's worth of water, and that's why I'm writing the emails out, because I figure that if it's in writing, and if something happens, it's in writing that they weren't actually fitted properly. So lesson learned. And to be honest, I'm not, I'm not gonna spill thousands of gallons of water all over the ground just to fix them, because that's kind of like, she's eating the bed. Okay, so number 5, and this one is a doozy. Bum, bum, bum. This one's terrible. Asbestos. We had an asbestos check, and we stipulated right before we picked this house out that we did not want a house that had asbestos in it, because we wanted to renovate it. I don't know what to say about that. Okay, you'll suffocate. And what did we get? A house with asbestos in it. Okay, I was going to show you some, but actually we've taken it all away. Hey, get down! We've taken a lot of it away. We've taken all the stuff that we've pulled out of the wall so far out. Now, when you get an asbestos check, I think what it means when you get the asbestos is that there's none exposed, that there's none open to the air. It's all, a lot of it in these homes, and it's in the 70s and the 80s, they used a lot of asbestos was in fibro board. Everyone hears asbestos and goes, oh my God, it must be something really scary, it's this big warning. No, it's not like that. It's grey, mostly just like fibro board, and you'll see the white fluffy hairs. So it's not completely asbestos. It's board. It's fibro board, or the concrete board, or whatever they want to call it. And it's mixed. It's thin, and it's mixed with concrete and fibers and all that. And they put the asbestos in that for strength, and they use it for waterproofing. So our bathroom, I can pretty much guarantee, because it's the old style of the house. Like, it's got the slats on the walls and whatnot. So I don't think the bathroom's been changed. It's been updated, but not what's it called? Not completely stripped out. This dog. So if you get an asbestos check, that does not mean that you don't have asbestos in the house. It means that there's no asbestos that you can touch on the outside. So that's basically your roof and whatever hasn't got asbestos. It's any asbestos is sealed inside a wall or under a floor. In our case, it was the wall. We ripped out a wall in the we flipped it off the bed. We ripped out a wall in the main bedroom, and a partition wall, and another big wall, and some cupboards that had asbestos in it. And we also pulled up a heap of tiles that were in the hallway on the floor. We pulled those up, and underneath it was asbestos. We didn't know it was asbestos, which I think that's where it's bad. I think they should explain to you that yes, the place has asbestos in it, but you are not going to be exposed to it unless you knock down walls or drill into things or whatever, and then at least explain to you where they are. We were just told, no, there's no asbestos in your house, you're good. which is completely an utter lie. There is asbestos in the house. I can guarantee there's still asbestos in our house. Just because you can't breathe it now doesn't mean that you're not going to renovate. And I think it really, when you buy a relocatable home, they have a duty of care to actually tell you that there is asbestos in it. You know what I mean? Don't just tell us, because what we said to them was, if there's asbestos, we are happy for you to remove it and we pay whatever it costs, because I didn't want it in the house. And he basically said, oh, we've had the check and there's none there to remove, because he was going to pay $1,000 towards it. Or we would have paid $1,000 towards getting it moved, and he was going to pay the rest, depending on where it was. So we were only up for $1,000 to remove it. And we were like, great, that's fine. You know, $1,000, worth it. And then he goes, no, you don't have to pay anything because there's none in there. And then we, you know, down the track, we've pulled stuff up and pulled it out. And the only reason why we knew was because we went to the dump to dump some of it, not all of it. Thank God we didn't load the whole lot of it up. We went to dump some of it, and we found out that you can't dump that. You have to. So the procedure is that you get it and you wet it down, which is the safe way to keep it. Truck just went past 100 mile an hour, which is the safe way to keep it. And if it's wet down, then you can wrap it in some builder's plastic, tape it up, put it in your truck or your ute or your trailer, take it to the dump. Tell them at the start that you've got asbestos, and we just wrapped it in black plastic and taped it, which took some time, you know. And even if I didn't, because he said even if you're not sure what it is, if you think it is asbestos or if it's grey fibro stuff, just wrap it in some plastic, just to be on the safe side. And we're like, yeah, that's no problem, we'll do that. So I did all that, chucked it in the trailer, took it down to the dump. And I'm like, righto, mate, we got some asbestos. Where do we take it? He's like, oh, when you finished offloading all the other stuff, see the man at see old mate down there. They were called old mate. Old mate down there in the little shack down there, and he'll tell you where to go. Oh, no worries. So anyway, we finished unloading all the other crap that we had, and we're like, oh, we got some asbestos. Where do we go? Is it just signs? Yeah, mate, well, I'll get in my little buggy thing and I'll take you down there. So he gets in his little cart and off he goes, driving in front of us. And we're like driving and, you know, it was dirt road. And I'm like, fucking hell, where are we going? We're going to end up, you know, somewhere. And we're, you know, going for a fair while. I'm thinking, oh, it smells so bad down here. And the sign read asbestos and dead animals. And I'm like, oh, that's why it stinks. It's disgusting. And then we got down there and he's like, well, this is it. And I'm like, this is what? What? You know? We're like, and it's like there's all these mounds. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry about the smell, man. There's, you know, been a few dead dogs and a few cows brought out. Yeah, no shit. Anyway, so we back the unit up and he goes, yeah, just chuck it over there. Okay. So we're picking it back out of the trailer. Like, it's just in like little, you know, we wrapped it up into liftable parcels. And he's helping us carry it, which was kind of cool. And then he's, you know, chucking it over, and I'm like, okay. So then he's like, what happens to it now? Like, it's sitting here. And he goes, I don't know, mate. He goes, they'll just come in and put some dirt over it tonight, and we'll be dead before it'll be anyone else's problem. And I'm like, okay. Okay. So basically, it gets wrapped in plastic, and it's builder's plastic, so it's not going to, you know, that's not going to rot away at any speed. The animals are out there rotting away, and this asbestos is now on top of these dead animals, which, you know, animals are deteriorating over time. It's kind of okay, you know, their bones take a long time, but the flesh off an animal, it takes, you know, it's going to be gone. But this asbestos, it'll be around after I've gone, after my kids have gone, after my kids have gone, after their kids. I reckon the aliens will inhabit Earth, and the asbestos will still be sitting at the dump. I kid you not. So anyway, that's our great, wonderful government for you, you know, just chuck it in the bush somewhere else. It's someone else's problem then. Anyway, I guess they figured that the dirt over it and the plastic and the dirt will stop it from getting into the atmosphere or whatever. Never mind the fact that we didn't even know it was there. We're drawing the heck out of it. But, so yeah, that's my 5 things. So if you're doing a relocatable home, you know, it's worth doing. It's a lot cheaper option. It's a lot faster. I think it would have been a lot more faster if we didn't do it sort of over the Christmas break. We had a few little hiccups along the way. But yeah, they're my 5 things that I wish that we had have known before we bought the house. Wouldn't have changed anything. Still would have bought the house. Still love the house. The house is great. So, you know, what can I say? That's just how the cookie crumbles. We don't always get what we want, do we? Anyway, that's it for me. I'm rambling as usual. I always get to the end of the video and then I go blah, 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 blah. So I'm going to end it there. And I hope you have a fantastic week no matter what you're doing. And yeah, I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.